Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It's the 12th of the 12th, isn't it? Thursday, the 12th of December, weeks till Christmas, and most importantly, the best gift we can get. The Reds are top of every fucking league you choose to name. Premier League, Champions League, we'll be talking about those two things. We'll be talking as ever, as we do, about all the latest Liverpool stories, all the things going on. And we are just over 48 hours away from the home game against Fulham. This month just moves quickly and quickly, doesn't it? I'm your normal host, ladies and gents, Dave Davis, coming to you from a freezing Edinburgh. I mean, you know, the one where it's got like frost on the ground, and you can see the mist and everything's sort of covered in white, and it looks like they've all been stuck in Iceland type of thing. That is how cold we're talking. Hopefully it's not too bad where you are. But most importantly, let's get into it, ladies and gents. Let's see what are the latest headlines for today for everything Liverpool. And I'm going to be honest, there is a number of things going on. Some we're going to piss on your cornflakes a little bit, to be honest, and sort of ruin the intrigue for some. So we'll start with, they usually do the transfer news, the certain bits going on. You will see this quoted by certain people. So I'm probably butchering his name, so apologies. Mario Cortenga, I think it is, the athletic guy for Real Madrid. So writes for the Athletic, covers everything Real Madrid. Alphonso Davies. Now, I might be wrong on this, but just looking at my timeline not that long ago, it felt like there was a big sort of push, almost a manifestation from some, not from all, definitely not from me, to get Davies on a free to Anfield. Now, as it says here, contract with Bayern Munich, everyone knows, comes to an end in the summer. Interest from Real Madrid, Barca, and clubs in the Premier League. Now, this is a game of sources. Now, I'll almost save you a little bit of time on this. It says that literally from Liverpool senior sources, there isn't really interest. So if people quote this and say this, if you like Davies, I'm afraid there's absolutely nothing, not one thing that suggests Liverpool are in for Alphonso Davies. And this article kind of confirms it as well. The other name that's been doing the round, shall we say, or come up over the last few days, and I'm probably going to butcher this one even worse, but Mastan, the River Plate youngster, compared to almost a hybrid, interestingly, from some between Kaká and De Bruyne. He has been linked with Liverpool. He has been linked with Liverpool on the basis of a release clause could potentially get paid and loaned back. So that was a big story there. Our info on that? You're going to have to wait, I'm afraid, ladies and gents, because at 6:30 tonight, we have got South American Stardust on the docket. So you'll be able to listen to that and get the take and everything we've got around Mastan Tuono. Probably butchering his name, but it doesn't really matter too much, does it? The João Pedro talk doing the rounds as well. Again, struggling to see that, as we've said before, for various reasons. But it is only a couple of weeks out, realistically, isn't it? That window opens. I'd love to give you some updates on the contract. We've all probably read Mel Reddy's comments yesterday. We've seen various things. Could dress it up. We've just got to wait and see what happens as that, or with that. It's that simple. Other stories doing the rounds. Joe Gomez, the unsung hero. Now, this is in quite a few of the nationals, to be fair, Joe Gomez speaking. And he doesn't talk too often, so it usually carries a bit of brevity, doesn't it, when Joe, that's a good word for a Thursday, when Joe Gomez does speak in that regard. So, it's a shout out to Lewis Steele for this, because that's the one we picked from the Daily Mail. Talks about his sort of renaissance under Arne Slot. There's a couple of quotes it's worth reviewing here. This one, when he talks about the summer and that deal for Anthony Gordon, I think some people still didn't believe it, but Joe Gomez was pretty unequivocal. It's definitely for real. My focus was always on the club, but I know how blessed I am to be here. Shout out to Sam Maguire for this, because Sam Maguire had that exclusive. I know other people have said no, Sam Maguire was the first to break that Joe Gomez could have left Liverpool last summer. And obviously this story developed, didn't it, that it was lined up with Anthony Gordon coming to Anfield, Joe Gomez going to Newcastle, the valuations of 45 million for Gomez, 75 million for Anthony Gordon. So however you dressed it up, a 30 million cash switch as well. Ahead. maybe not the worst thing in the world, looking back, especially from how much we've needed Gomez with Big Ibu being out as well. So, yeah, he confirmed that's for real. The other couple of things it's worth calling out from the article is you almost forget this as well because he gets praised by so many members of staff. Also, a funny little thing. He nearly scored the other night, didn't he, Joe Gomez? That was amazing. Said going up for corners is a big thing. That is one thing that has hindered me this whole time, as I was never up, so my odds have been boosted. So he is going up for corners, and we saw that one, Giroud, the first half, so close before Paulo Gazzaniga tips it over. So maybe it's coming. Maybe that's a bit of a jump. The other thing that you kind of forget in the article as well, this is crazy. Joe Gomez this summer will have been at Liverpool 10 years. A decade. That type of service is almost unheard of, isn't it, in the modern era? Let's be completely honest. So, yeah, it will be interesting. If it is 10 years, will Joe Gomez get a testimonial? Will Joe Gomez still be here next season? That is naturally a question for the future. Yeah, Red for Life says Joe will score his goal this season. I reckon hopefully he does. How good would it be if it's a big one, especially with everything we're chasing? That would be utterly erotic, wouldn't it? It'd be amazing. But we'll have to see if he can get his head on a few more. But will he get a testimonial? Will he still be here? I mean, Newcastle, Villa apparently was close to last summer, as we said on the transfer show. We're just going to have to see what unfolds with Joe Gomez. But he's massively important to us at the moment, isn't he? No two ways about it, especially with Ibu out. Fingers crossed he'll be back soon. Other news that's coming up, and there's a sad element to this. There really is. Darwin Núñez, late yesterday, last night, he took to social media, didn't he? And there's that quote there. They are not all, they are some. Thank you, Reds, for your support. We are all still together. I'll be honest, first clocked this, I was like, what's this about? And then if you've seen his Instagram profile, he put that resiliencer, didn't he, statement on. And unfortunately, as people like me were like, what's going on with this? There's some fucking morons in our fan base. There really is at times. Personally abusing Darwin Núñez and personally abusing, as some people screenshot, which is horrible, his pregnant partner. I mean, if you're doing that, what is wrong with you? Like, just to be clear, because I've seen other people come back on this going, oh, we're not allowed to criticise, not allowed to analyse. You can criticise. It's called analysis. That's what pundits do. Sometimes they'll say a player played well. Sometimes they'll say a player played badly. They'll explain why. That's called analysis. Like me at the moment, my analysis of Núñez, I think I watched Darwin Núñez and he is utterly devoid of confidence. He's gone into one of those real, because he is a peak and trough player. He really is. He's streaky, as they'd say back in the day. His troughs are really bad. We saw that at the end of last season. Really is in a moment where he's just devoid of confidence. He almost looks fearful of the ball, I think, at times. Not doubting his work rate, not doubting his effort, not doubting the defensive side to his game, not for 1 second. At the same time, I am probably like you. It'd be interesting to see your comments on this. Feel free to throw them in. I am still a little bit unsure exactly of what Arne Slot wants from his centre in a Liverpool side. Now, I've seen all sorts of people reference Jota, Bobby. I know Bobby does not here anymore, but that nature of that forward, Núñez being the square peg in the round hole, which I can understand that as well. It's still ultimately a bit of a struggle for me to say this is exactly what Arne Slot is looking for. And Red for Life, I think, sums it up well. People are trashing him really badly. He's a Red. As long as he's at this club, we should support him. Yeah, absolutely. When he plays for us, you're giving him a backing and support. Fortunately, I think that's a fair comment, Red for Life. He does pay attention to and does seem to be very affected by social media, which is a bit of a shame. And I know there'll be the argument over thicker skin needed, etc. People will see it different. But yeah, just to be unequivocally clear, those people that are seeing the screenshots abusing his pregnant partner, just fuck off. No one's interested in having you in our fan base whatsoever. And Midnight Toker puts, Nunes will always have my backing when he wears the shirt. And ultimately, his long-term future, most likely you'd suspect, is not at Anfield. But whilst he's here, he can play an important part as we're going for trophies on all fronts. Let's all remember that. And while he's on the pitch, get behind him. The rest will work itself out. Jumping to a lot further afield, the Far East. And people are thinking, why are you talking about the Far East? So Jimbo Pearce, James had that shout out to him. The sort of the breaking news tonight that Liverpool are exploring a game pre-season tour, you should call it, really, shouldn't you, in the Far East. So Japan and Hong Kong were specifically mentioned. Now, call me suspicious, call me cynical. James Pearce breaks that story last night. This morning, you're looking at it now, fresh on the Liverpool website. Kelleher, Salah, and Elliot's reactions to famous Liverpool moments. In-flight entertainment, as they call the segment. Sponsored by Japan Airlines, who now have at Anfield, as it says, a Japan Airlines lounge as well. So that's going to be, I've not seen, I don't know where that is. I don't know if that's hospitality. I'll be making up and lying to you. But call me cynical, you may think there's something in this. Now, it's about 11 minutes long or so, but honestly, it's quite funny, actually. So I'm just going to play a small snippet from it. Well worth a good sort of 10 minutes of your day or so. So let's have a look at this one.
That's a good clearance from Matty.
My first season. 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago.
What a reaction.
Halloween's come early, I reckon.
What a goal from Mohamed Salah that was!
I think the best one I have done for a club.
That's a good reaction from him, isn't it?
Oh, look at his face. Is it all just about him today?
Yeah, I think it is.
Guys,
Oh, wow.
is that good?
Brilliant, Mo! Good acting, that one.
Nice shoe.
I'm not going to ruin the whole thing for you because there's a few more funny ones in there as well. And we get to see, naturally, as we like, a little bit more of Queeve, Salah, Elliot's personality. So if you do get sort of 10, 15 minute, whatever of your day, well worth a watch. But yeah, call me cynical just in case you missed that. James Pearce breaks the story that Liverpool may be going to Japan and Hong Kong for pre-season next summer. And Japan Airlines drop a video with these three on it. We'll see. Anyway, just my thoughts. Last night as well, we didn't play, but look at the sexiness of that Champions League table. I mean, they could stick that on Pornhub, couldn't they, ladies and gents, and just watch the views and the ads or whatever roll in off that. The Champions League table, Liverpool played 6, won 6. Even this, 13 goals and only conceded a solitary one. Do you remember that solitary one? I had to think for a second. Christian Pulisic, do you remember the very opening few minutes? If Tsimikas hadn't had that brain fart, we'd have clean sheets across the board. And as Red for Life says there, top of every league you care to name. That's all you need to tell your mates who support other teams. Interesting, there's a few English teams there, isn't there? Villa, Arsenal. It's a shame in a way because you're hoping they kind of, it looks like they're probably, well, actually, let me rewind that. It's so tight. I mean, there's some surprising ones in there, aren't there? Brest, Lille. But look at that. 8th down to 19th. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Is only 3 points. The picture could still change. It'd be great if these two dropped into that just to have, probably not Villa, don't get me wrong, but Arsenal especially, just to get some extra games. That would be absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Is just crazy. Who would have bet on, again, it's weird saying this, but 20th and 22nd, City. Now, someone's saying, why are you talking about this? This could be good for us. It really could. Because Jay from Scouser Tommy actually spotted this and tweeted it. So fair shout out to Jay. If City do qualify and end up in the playoffs, you know, the two-legged games where you have to play two-leg, the second leg of that playoff is just before we go to the Etihad. So keep that in mind. If City do come in the positions where they have to play a two-legged playoff, the second leg of that is just before we go to the Etihad. So the hope is, especially with the way they're going, that that's a meaningful game. They have to really pile it on. I mean, we're dreaming and I'm getting greedy as fuck saying this, but imagine if that went to extra time. That's the dream. And maybe someone is going to say you are being ultimately greedy, and I absolutely am. But yeah, if we could get extra minutes out of City, I mean, their legs are already crumpled. How good would that be for us? So just to consider that. And yes, Helia Matthias puts there, they have got PSG. That is going to be a tough game. It's weird, isn't it? We do want City, as I say, to qualify, go into that qualifying round for the two extra games. So we'll see what happens there. And just because I want to bring up on the screen, someone may just ask, what have we got left to do? I won't say the throwaway fixtures, but you're looking for a rotation into Jan, there. Lille on the Tuesday, the 21st. And Pierre, you're hoping you do not see a single, well, maybe a few, but no risk taken. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, Champions League, we get to park that for a little while now, don't we, ladies and gents? What's coming up on AI content? What's out there? So this is an interesting story, and someone's going to read this wrong about Liverpool entering partnerships with Saudi investors. The only thing I would say, it's an interesting story. The effect on Liverpool's finances? Fuck all. It relates to golf, but it is an interesting story where FSG are building their empire, so well worth a quick read. But before anyone thinks and goes into the negatives, FSG, just have a scan of that. So yeah, $3 billion, golf. Also AI content that we wanted to call out for you. A couple of things. On our video channel on YouTube, this one, well worth a read. So another in the series, the Fatigue Index. So this is Sai with Emily Joyce, who is a professional player. So an interesting one about the ACL, but from a player's perspective as well. So well worth a watch, well worth a listen if you prefer to download it, as we know that way. Live for you today, we have got a veritable feast for the eyes and the ears, ladies and gents. We really have. So as well, coming up in, if you've got your lunch break and something to do, 1 o'clock, I've got David Lynch joining me for Media Matters. We'll be reviewing Girona, looking ahead to Fulham, all the normal stuff. But the doctor will be in the house later on. That's 4:30 today. We'll be looking at the stats, looking at and previewing Fulham a little bit as well, with a little bit of a special twist that way as well. And then later on, 6:30, I mentioned it before, I'll be joined by Tom Robinson. So editor of Galazzo, South American expert. We've done it many times. He'll be talking through the latest links to South American youngsters linked to Liverpool. And we've got 3 on the docket for you as well at the same time. So that will be interesting to see. Many, many things coming up for you. And then obviously Friday, before you know it, we'll have the Arne Slot press conference. We'll have post-conference presser, Daily Red with Dave, and things just roll, don't they? The games come super thick and super fast for Liverpool. Saturday, 3 o'clock, we know it's Fulham, followed by midweek, that Carabao. You can probably see from all our content when we talk about our wider football and everything we're doing, I'm kind of in the now. And I've been to the Carabao Cup final a couple of times, the FA Cup, the recent ones, when we just batter Chelsea each time. Loved them. Incredible days out. It's all about pots. Liverpool Football Club, Rick Parry name was, invented to win trophies. The Carabao. I'm not writing it off. I'm not saying throw the game, just to be clear. But for Carabao at the moment, for me, you play the ultimate, what he considers to be his second string. I really don't want to see Gravenberch, VVD, Salah, anywhere near it. Maybe there might be a few on the bench, who knows? But I'm really looking for the second string to be in the Carabao. And no doubt talking about that tonight later. Chat, G&G, Gags and Grizz will be chatting later on. So they are 7:30. So just, look at what we've got covered for you, ladies and gents. 1 o'clock Media Matters, 4:30 today, Stat Me Up, 6:30 South American Stardust, and 7:30 the G&G, Gags and Grizz show. The Housewives favourites are back. We have got you covered galore. And the only wider thing there on football, Midnight Toker's put it on. Anyone think Pep might walk? No. A fat contract. The commitment. We'll have to see what happens with the case, won't we? We know the case is finished. Now the judging panel, if you want to call them that, are deliberating. I genuinely don't believe Pep walks. Maybe we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But they're just like us, aren't they, a little bit, realistically? The legs have gone. To use a Jamie Webster line, the wheels have fallen off, haven't they? Like, we had it with Hendo, Fabinho, when the legs just completely went. They're in that scenario now. So we will see what happens with them. And just remember, in case you missed it, people, we ultimately do want Manchester City to qualify, not for automatic, but for the playoff round, because the second leg would be just before we go to the Etihad. So it'd be great if they had extra time penalties, that the whole caboodle, wouldn't it, with legs gone. And also, they'd have had January. So there's links with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes and wider things. So all these things just have a little knock-on effect. And the final thing I want to give you, why I'm talking wider football, Spurs are in a couple of weeks. It looks like we'll be facing them, according to reports, without Mickey van der Ven, who seems to be out for rumoured 2 to 3 weeks, and Romero, their other first-choice centre-half, so out for rumoured 5 to 6 weeks as well. So it could be Ben Davies, Dragusinits, I think it's pronounced. Maybe they might put Archie Gray there. But either way, it ain't bad news that it looks like in a few weeks, we will be going to Spurs with their second string centre-backs. So what a few weeks it pledges to be. Like and subscribe if you've not already. Love everyone getting involved. Thank you to all the comments, everyone who's put them in there. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the content galore we have got coming up for you.